communist, and the communist name is Mark. Commie Mark.
Огонь на подавление! Враг сзади по левому флангу! Огонь! Прочь! Они...
Assalamu alaikum, bitches. It's me, your man, Commie Mark, your friendly neighborhood communist or whatever. Joining me, as ever, the Secretary of the Revolution, the Minister for Reception. I don't know. It's Stencilites Jan. Greetings, comrade. How you doing?
Greetings, comrade. How are you today?
Yeah, I'm very good, thank you. Looking forward to doing this show. Looking forward to hanging out with our OG crew or whatever. Like, that's pretty sweet.
I like your video. I forgot how great the original CG UK trailer was. The Sting, I believe it's called. There's a lot of faces on there that I haven't seen for a long time, to use the Obi-Wan Kenobi meme.
Yeah. Well, many of those faces join us here today, like, which is great. Of course, we have Brother Chubb joining us.
Hello. I'm never, you know what, you caught me by surprise this time because I'm never on like second. I'm always like last in the queue for getting it out. So I think I wasn't doing anything embarrassing.
Well, congratulations, you're promoted.
Hell.
Another returning face, all the way from Scotland. Like Willie is joining us. Look at this. I haven't seen Willie for months and months.
Ages. Yeah, good to see everybody. Yeah, that was weird. I was getting a wee bit stressed there. I thought I had to have a bit prepared when I saw that title sequence come up. And I went, oh no, I don't have a bit. But no. But yeah, that was good seeing that again. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, that's it. The Carry On streaming show was great, and we should do some of those again, even if we just do them for like Christmas, Easter. Easter's coming up, and we could do an Easter episode, something like that, like do event episodes. One person in that trailer, Jim, Jim's like he hasn't quite joined Captain Fuckhead, like in the next life or whatever, but he's gone to Japan or something, hasn't he? Like,
yeah,
I haven't seen him for ages.
He was planning to go to Japan. That was the last time we heard.
But in his place,
better.
Well, certainly taking up more space. Is Crystolian Dave. Hello, Dave. You're on mute.
Do
it. Right. There we go. Jesus Christ. Yeah.
He's bringing the bar.
Repeat what I said. I said, fuck you. I said, all right, my fabbers. That needs updating. You need more of this beautiful thing here in that video.
You are in it, though, at one point, actually, I think.
Right at the end. Right at the end.
In the crowd, yeah, that's it. Yeah.
I need front and center. Come on, you got to put your most beautiful people up there.
And then as a real special guest this week, Mulvania's number 4 comic book creator or whatever.
Little one.
joins us.
Greetings, everyone. Greetings to my friends. You do not look like nothing like your avatars. Oh my God, it's embarrassing to me because I didn't recognize Mr. Chubb and Mr. Rolling Yams and Mr. That's it. Hello, everyone. There is some sort of delay, but we will figure it out.
Stop blaming Donald Delay. He's not even here.
Donald Delay.
I can blame him anytime I want. He's the chosen blame one.
This week, we're going to be going over this list that I created of the top 50 most influential people in UK comics. It started in December. I done a tweet, like a joke, saying like, "Oh, congratulations to Mark Millar for now taking my place as the most hated man in UK comics." Just a joke, can it? Like, obviously, there's people more hated than me. Like, most people don't even know who I am. Not yet. I'll get them to hate me as well. But people were reacting to that, like saying, "No, blah 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 blah." And I thought, well, actually, who is like the most, influential person? And it's something that I wanted to do for ages, make this map of the UK industry to help other UK people know who people are, stuff like that. But that's not what we're going to get to just yet. That's just sizzle. See that Chubb has a share screen, so I'm going to throw to you, like, say whatever thing it is that you want to say about the thing that's here.
Please, comrade. I just want to tell everybody that you should sign up to the Mary Boys All Stitched Up mailing list. It is the new series. It's going to be a long story, very good story. And if you want to hear about it as soon as it comes out, please sign up to the list. I'm not launching before the whole damn thing is done, or each comic in the series is completely finished. So there won't be any sort of delays and promises and tears and stuff for late delivery.
So people should go and sign up for that. If you look on Twitter, you will see many people saying that Mary Boys is the best comic in Comicsgate. Like a bold claim, but it's one that I agree with also. Like, it's really good, real strong stuff. Like, it has my full endorsement. We've got some people in the chat. Black Angus is here. He's talking about about the UK guys, whatever. Mucky Mouse says ducks have a corkscrew penis. That's true. They have real issues with rape in the duck community. I'm assuming because they don't have religion. No, that's a joke. Obviously, that's not going to help. Religion. Hello, Sven. Nicholas is here. It's hailing the chat. That was very loud. It's a joke. Steve, Thomas is here as well. I'll send him a link. Death Metal Hero. Well, hit a whole heap of trouble on one panel. What's up?
Greetings, Death Metal Hero.
We're gonna get into some trouble, that's for sure. So before we get into the list, though, there's a thing that I do now where throughout the week, like, I take some notes of what happened in the week, like I'll tell them to you, because I didn't get to say them to someone like during the week. I've only got two things this week. The first is sort of related to the show. I showed my girlfriend the thumbnail that I made, and she said, "What did you do to your hair?" And I was like, "That's not me." So that was pretty funny.
The eyes look familiar.
I mean, that was actually made by Kenzo. That picture, like, you just put my hat.
Right.
But as soon as you sent it to me, I was like, "Yeah, I'm putting that in something." The other thing is, it was about the other day. It's about 10 o'clock, 10:30, something like that. and I walked up my stairs, and about halfway up the stairs, I got hit by this really strong, like, chemically smell that I couldn't quite, like, put my finger on what it was. But my brain immediately thought bleach.
Tear gas.
I haven't had any trouble from the, but maybe soon again. Like we'll spoil that. So I burst into my child's room, expecting, you know how your brain works. Like I expected him to be like dead on the floor, like covered in bleach or something, like because the smell was so strong. So I opened the door, and he was standing there, completely naked, but covered in head to toe with Sudocrem. You know, like the nappy rash cream or whatever.
So, how do you know what that smells like, though?
Wait, what?
So many questions this raises.
Well, I know what nappy rash cream smells like because I'm a grown up.
Proceed, Tommy Mark. Proceed with the story.
Okay.
I took him into the bathroom and I tried to wipe it off, but like you can't wipe it off because that's kind of the point. So like I put him in the shower, like, and I was blasting him with the shower, but it's waterproof, like, and the water was just bouncing off. Like, I ended up having to scrape it off, like scraping a car windscreen or something. Ridiculous stuff. Oh, Monica's here as well. She says, "Hello, degenerate." So,
Hello, degenerate.
oh,
I have the perfect solution for you for your problem with child. You wash him with dish soap water.
dish
soap.
soap.
Yes, dish soap takes it, the grease and the fatties and all that stuff. It takes it away, nice and clean, no stuff on it. Your baby will be like new.
Then you hang him upside down on, on the clothesline for 3 hours. No problems with the baby after that at all.
Just don't put them in a dish.
Very quiet.
Damn babies.
Danger Vanessa says, "What in the world was Mark Jr. doing?" I asked him why he did that, and he said, "I was giving myself a massage." Like,
Can I just very quickly tell you an anecdote that my brother told me? It's
Yes,
kind
please.
of on the same.
Do it.
So, it's going back. Oh, this is going back about over a decade ago. My brother's got 3 boys, all in. There's at the time one would have been 6, one would have been 7, and one would have been 5. So literally, donk, donk, donk in the ages. One of them had a really bad tummy, and he was like, "What are they doing up there? They've gone really quiet." And what would happen was he was having the diarrhea, and the other 2 thought it was a great idea to pick him up and use his butt to write on the walls.
No.
On the walls.
You have worms?
Perfection.
Literally just doing this with him around the walls. My brother walked in there and then just slowly walked backwards, just shut the door, went downstairs into the kitchen, was like, I can't.
That's utilitarian, if I ever heard.
How old were those boys now? How old are they now?
The oldest is at university doing animation.
Amazing.
He grew up to be Banksy. That's my standard.
The other 2 are at college. One's a plumber. The one with the shit, the plumber.
Oh. I'm soaked.
Shit story made we lost viewers with that story, but it was worth it. And it reminded me of this comment, like they were using it like pain or something. Yeah. Cool. You wrote Red Bone.
Is my anyway, never mind.
All right. Cool. So that's the majority of the shit that I had to say. So we can move on to the list. We're 15 minutes in already.
Yes, you talked about your baby.
Yeah, we'll fix it in post. So before we start going through this list, I want to make it clear that this is a bullshit list. I'm just like one man, like who thought of 50 people and then put
What?
them in
I
order.
helped you, you ungrateful communist. Can't remember helping you, but
I was trying to spare you any blame and backlash that may result from this, but whatever, yeah, jump on that cross. So I mean, there's a sort of logic to it, but it's not really like early.
Wait a second. Was this supposed to be the most influential UK comics creator of recently, not of all time?
Yeah. So
more recently.
Yes, you're correct to point that out. This is
Recent,
based
what
on,
am I doing here then? If it's recent,
What have you done for me recently?
spoiler alert: none of us make the top 50.
Well, that's bullshit.
Well, we'll see about that.
Not this year. So 2023, this is mostly based on in response to that tweet, I started to think, okay, so who did do the best? I know Bleeding Cool were doing the thing a few years ago every year where they would do the top 50 most influential people in comics overall. But for me, trying to understand the UK scene, it wasn't super helpful. And there must be other people out there trying to understand the UK scene, like who will benefit from this. And we'll get to do it every year because next year, some people's stock will rise, some people's stock will fall. We'll have newbie people, some people might die. There's a lot of old people on the list. So, you know, there's content there. So, and as an example of how not totally serious this is, coming in at number 50 is this person, Lucy Sullivan. Now, it's possible and probable that you've never heard of this woman. And really, I only included her as an excuse to show this tweet that she sent once that says, check out the Sea Guy's account. He's got all the red flags. That's about me on it. Like, and I'm not sure.
Of course, you have red flags. You're a communist. She's so dumb.
That's what I mean. Like, I'm not sure if she's like doing an ironic joke or not. Like, but I mean, she blocked me, so
She does.
probably
Yeah,
not
exactly.
Yeah, I'm blocked.
She doesn't look like she does ironic jokes.
No.
Doesn't
The
seem
irony.
like and you can see that her book, Barking, is clearly about like the mental difficulties of a mental woman. This woman,
She's lying. She's lying.
That's the best description ever. Mental difficulties of mental woman.
So what's in the foreground? A pair of legs and a pair of hairy balls. What's?
I think that's the patriarchy.
Yes.
First of all,
I think it's
she
actually-
missed. I'm sorry. I have to insist.
Go ahead.
First of all, she missed a great chance to place a very well placed dog penis right over there and really drive the point home, right through the head.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like you just alluded to, I think it's a dog in it. Like it's meant to be like you know, some shaggy black dog metaphor for depression or something like that. It's called Barking as well. You know, like Barking Man. No, I didn't name the book. She did.
Isn't that like offensive? You know, saying someone's barking mad, ain't that a big no anymore or whatever?
Certainly offensive for me to say it. Like and you know, I think that for a non-mental woman to say it would be offensive, you know. No, I don't know. This is number 49. The comics laureate, Bobby Joseph. Has anyone ever heard of this guy before?
I've heard of this guy.
Scotland Yardie. No.
So first of all, Scotland Yardie. That's an alright pun, I guess. Here last year he became the first like person of color or whatever to be named the UK Comics Laureate, which you know is a position that they hand out at the Lakes Comic Art Festival.
What is the laureate?
So it's like it's a position, like they go around. He does like events, like speaking, like trying to encourage
Ambassador?
Yeah, like an ambassador. Yeah, that's a good.
Is
way
he
to
getting paid?
I don't think that he gets paid, but all of the events are paid for by the state. That's my understanding. Like, there's one of the
So
things
it's a public position?
Yeah. And it gets voted on like every 2 years by the Lakes International Comic Art Festival. Previous laureates are also on the list. People who have achievements that you may have heard of, like this guy, from what I can tell, with the exception of Scotland Yard, he hasn't really done anything since 1994. Like when he had like a black satirical Viz-like comic, of which Scotland Yard was a character inside of it, I believe. Like so, imagine.
So this is old.
Pardon?
Mon frère. So I'm saying this is old, right? This comic book is old.
I think that it's been republished like recently. And have a look. Like I don't have the pages here.
I mean, when did he create it?
The character is from the 90s, I believe, but he's bought it back more recently. Like some people have done. That's the thing.
Okay.
Yeah, it looks like 27.
I'm trying to figure out what's what.
So, I'm wondering why he's got a bolter from Warhammer 40,000 in the.
He's a ninja, of course, a Sergio Tacchini ninja, judging by his flesh jumpsuit.
I just looked at it on Amazon. The description starts with institutionalized racism at an all-time high. That's the very first one.
Obviously, this predates the report that says the UK is not institutionally racist.
Well, if you do a little more digging into Skank, which is this black Viz what he made, like at the time, people said that it was racist, that it was sexist, that it was misogynist, homophobic, and they sell 30,000 issues of the book in it, and as well, they had a big legal battle with Linford Christie. You remember Linford Christie, like the Olympian, that they were making jokes suggesting they was taking steroids or some kind of performance enhancing drugs or whatever, and they had to go to court and all of that stuff. Oh shit, what was that?
Hey chat, panel and Comic. Hope you're doing well. I hope you have a wonderful weekend.
Oh, thank you. It's a super chat from Katie's
the droids.
$. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Katie.
She's got, if you're interested in dramas, she's got a great channel collecting that kind of stuff for you to go and have a look at.
That American guy, that runner, that Linford Christie, I believe, ran against. Now that guy was on steroids. What was his name? Johnson?
I don't remember. I was 4, 5, something like that.
I wasn't even a sperm at that point, probably.
When he came out, he was so pumped up. It's like his eyeballs were almost coming out of his head. He was an American sprinter. Was it Johnson?
Amazing. Let him run. See what happens.
I think he.
Yeah. They should all take steroids.
Exactly. Put them all on drugs. All of the drugs. Then we were going to have a good show.
No, not just the performance enhancing ones, the ones that reduce performance as well in it.
Fuck it, everything.
Let's get past this guy. That stare is making me uncomfortable. That accusatory stare.
The main reason why I wanted to include this guy is the comics laureate position. It would be great for one of us to steal that, but it will never happen. Because of who gives it out. And I wanted to point out that his book is like anti-authoritarian, anti-establishment. Like it was accused of being racist and sexist and all of those things. And in the 90s, they tried to cancel him for it or whatever. But now, in the future, because of him being a black person, they can use it as an opportunity to virtue signal and include, go to the events and all of that stuff. Now it's okay. Now it's cool. Like the very things what we're accused of, what I'm accused of. So maybe in 20 years, maybe it'll be cool and I'll get to be the comic laureate. Who knows? All right. So next on the list, number 48 is our friend Russ Leach.
Where did you get that picture?
Where'd you get
I've
the
been
blue
meaning-
steel stare, Russ Leach?
Yeah, I didn't know Russ was in cruising.
I'm
Yeah,
not saying
Russ is
anything bad about Russ. So you can skip the photo. He's a cool dude.
Yeah, Russ is good.
Oh, I didn't mean to put that up like with a picture of Russ. Like I don't think that's a thing. I'm just like, there's lots of people in the chat. Hello, everyone. Yeah, so cool thing in 2023, Russ did a Batman comic. Like, and on the list, doing a big name book like a Batman or an X-Men or a Flash or something, like that's gonna boost you up like higher on the list. And like, it's not about who's the best; it's about who has the most influence on the industry or whatever. And I completely forgot to say at the top of this, which was gonna like as a spoiler or whatever, Alan Moore is not on this list, like because if he was on the list, he would just be number one every year, like because all he has to do is say something about fascism or I don't want to talk about comic books, and it's the biggest splash that anyone's gonna make. Like so
He hasn't actually done anything for British comics anyway, has he?
No.
well
Not recently.
Yeah, never.
Well, the
It is-
2000 stuff definitely counts for something, but
Yeah, he was just a hired gun, writing short stories. Got him
Yeah.
triggering Mark.
This person on the screen is confusing me. He's looking at me.
actually confusing.
It's too much. I have a big screen. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Westerners.
Russ did Doctor Who as well, when Doctor Who was good. So yeah, he's got.
yeah, he's a good guy. He's got a good YouTube channel, Comic Book Black Belt. Like it has lots of tutorials on there. Like he worked on Marvel, how to draw the Marvel way. Like so, good content. Like a good, sensible guy. Like and probably the friendliest like person on the list towards us or whatever.
Towards us, yeah.
All right, so next up, what are we on? 46 or something. Is this guy Steve Tanner? Like, I don't know if you know who this is. Like, he's from the People's Republic of Birmingham, like I am. And he has acquired the rights to Captain Scarlet, which is cool. Like, for a small indie publisher or whatever. Like,
His books are really good.
He looks exactly like his covers.
Color scheme.
The
No,
color.
his books are really good. I back all his campaigns. Yeah.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, what an opportunity. That's another thing that will increase your ranking on the list. Like, getting these opportunities to put yourself in front of a bigger audience. Like, we'll get some better examples of that as we go through. But good work, Steve. Like, I'm recognizing
Yeah.
And obviously, there's going to be a lot of people who aren't included on this list. And if you didn't make the list, just think of it as you managed to escape my attention. Like, so you're probably doing something good in that case. Like, at least not something bad. Not like Joe Glass. Like,
Come on.
Thank you for
I'm glad
this,
you
Kobe
used that.
Mark.
what I would say, like, I think this is fair to say, that Joe Glass has reached the absolute pinnacle and distance that gay comics can take you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe.
yeah. I suppose you got to give him that. Like, he's the most successful out and out gay comic maker in the UK. I guess.
I'd say
Maybe.
so.
Okay,
Yeah,
good for him.
I just wanted to go
Oh,
back
this
for a
is
second.
better.
That's not the one. Here it is. Is that Terrorhawks as well? Yeah, Captain Scarlet and the Terrorhawks. Like, I think that if we'd made a list of like iconic British properties or whatever that it would be cool to do something for, this would have probably been on the list. Like, not as high as doing Cold War Blackadder. Like, that's the pinnacle of mainstream stuff that I'd like to do. Joe Glass. He's a good man who blows up terrorists. Blows up terrorists. He doesn't do that.
No, Terf.
Burns down women's conferences.
Yeah, he has a hatred of women.
Well, don't we all? So
Yes.
Here's Mary's like keeping you young.
She's
Where is
downstairs.
Charlie?
Can't hear me.
He's not very smart.
That seems to be the
Yes.
consensus.
An idiot. Exactly.
Did I have anything else to add about Joe Glass?
Has anybody read one of his comics?
This book, The Miracles. I don't know if you remember, he crowdfunded it like a year or two ago. Your boy Zach even shouted it out. Like, he recently got a deal to publish his trade paperback as individual comic issues under this publisher CEX, which isn't Computer Exchange. Like, I did like a deep dive to see if it was the same company, and it's not. CEX would actually be a good place for books to be, like, next to DVDs and games and keyboards and all that other nerdy shit that they sell. I'm allowed to say that.
I always said a good place for a comic book would be next door to one of their shops. If you had a comic book shop, put it next to the CEX shop, same demographic.
What you want is find somewhere in the UK where you have a CEX, then a shop for sale, and then a Warhammer shop next to that. Like, that's the trifecta. That is like you'll make $1 bajillion if you find that. Grim Jim 666 says, "Why is that bear in bondage again?" You know what? Never mind. Yeah, that's part of
Because he's having fun. It's a great fun time.
It's gonna shit in the woods.
These
do you reckon
people. No,
Should
I'm
we
going
move on to
to.
the next one,
I want to
please?
say something. These
Please, no,
people
we're
are
not
dumb. Am I coming through?
Yeah, go on.
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm just annoyed because they say they blame their sales to, I don't know, the moon and sun and the moon, but instead they should go to a drag convention. They should go to RuPaul's Drag Race convention or something, and it's like a comic book convention, so they would have no problem selling their stuff there, and that's an actual good advice. I am almost mad at myself for sharing this terribly good advice with them.
Yeah, I was waiting for you like to get to a punchline, and I was like, oh, no, that makes
Yeah,
sense. Actually,
No, it makes sense. That's why I'm upset, because it makes sense. They were going to make a lot of money.
Well,
Yeah.
this
So,
guy was,
my final thought on Joe Glass is his most famous thing is that for burning down the feminist conference tweet thing, and I defended him at the time, like saying that it was an edgy joke, and he seems to have moved past it. And it's good to see that someone can make spicy, edgy jokes on Twitter and still, not get cancelled for their misinterpreted humor.
There's no way on this planet that he's edgy and would make anything
Well,
like
I don't
an
know.
edgy
If you
joke. The
look
man's
at
just an idiot.
If you
He's
check out his
around.
Twitter, there's a lot of pictures of him in his underwear, so he's probably edging a little bit there. If I'm honest.
Dave, why are you
Oh.
looking at pictures of Joe in his underwear?
I interviewed a guy for a comics website, all right, and he's questionable.
He's perfectly round.
Yeah, not a single edge to be found.
Exclamation.
He's perfectly round. Not an edge to be found.
I think it's time for this guy to give up on his hairline. I think
Yeah.
Very judgmental, Dave.
Well,
I am today. It's getting late. That's the problem. I get cranky.
So this is Josh Meadows, Joel Meadows, sorry, who is the editor of Tripwire magazine, and it's important to us in the UK comic scene because Tripwire are the only awards for comic books, like in the UK. He's the one who gets to hand those out, and he also helps to run Portsmouth International Comic Con. I guess that must be where he lives. But the Tripwire Awards is the big thing, that this guy has.
We needed an awards ceremony. We really do. I guess this is almost like an awards ceremony. We're giving recognition. Maybe we can flower into something, something else.
We could call it barbed wire.
Yeah.
They're not going to get better as it goes on.
So, when Tripwire came out originally, it was very sarcastic, and mocking of the industry or whatever, movies, TV, etc. But then as they gained more and more access to, Hollywood types and Alan Moore and stuff like that, it becomes more and more sanitized, and that they've sold out to the mainstream or whatever. But they celebrated 30 years this year, so good work.
We'll be doing something right then, I suppose.
Well done, them.
Next
Yeah.
up,
Many of these are there.
the next one's this Hannah Berry woman. She is a previous comics laureate. The one before Bobby Joseph was named this year. Most famous for comic book Adam Teen. The reason she's a little bit higher up on the list than the current comics laureate is this has been sold as a movie, and they sold the movie rights, and getting your comic made into a movie is going to reach a bigger audience, and that's what we're trying to measure in it. Who has the most? It's not who has the biggest audience, but whose message can reach the most people. That's what influence is, isn't it?
who has the biggest penis? Basically.
Yeah, well,
That cover is awful.
there's some quite a few women on this list with big penises, like big balls at
Amazing.
least.
That's
That's for sure.
female penis.
Pale female penis.
Yes.
Oh, one
Hail
thing
to
that
the
is
female
great.
penis.
One thing that is great, and we'll come back to this like in a different episode. When Hannah Berry was the comics laureate, like she commissioned a report into the UK comic industry, like and I'm gonna read directly from my notes here, and like this report that she's written, the former comics laureate, this LGBT representative or whatever, proved in her report that the industry is overrepresented by both white males and LGBT creators. That the majority of UK comics have themes representing marginalized people, and nobody is getting paid properly, like across all of those groups, and even the most overrepresented people aren't being paid properly. Here's a direct quote from Hannah Berry's report. The established industry appears cliquey, discriminatory, and difficult to access.
You know, that's true.
That's why she has a movie.
Yeah. So,
anyway,
but we'll go through that report in a different video, like because there's some interesting stuff in there that Citizen Ronin says that's a handsome woman. Yeah. Right, let's see who's next. Oh, my mate. So this is David Ziggy Green, like the owner of the Jam Bookshop, like and the creator of Small Press Day. Small Press Day is, of course, like an annual event for indie creators to promote their works and show their wares and stuff. And I had the great fortune of meeting him in 2023. Here he is, like shaking me hand.
Shaking
Happy
hands
to
with the
meet you.
commie.
Yeah. We aren't allowed to participate in Small Press Day
No.
because it's
Why?
trademarked. It's trademarked, and apparently you can't use a hashtag of a trademark. Or maybe you can. And whoever told us that was just, really misinformed.
Yeah.
I use it every day.
Yeah.
Grim Jim asked, "What's that device in front of him?" It's the till. Like I went to his shop and it. And what was funny, like he was fine. Like he was like a chill, normal dude to your face. Like we'll see on the next Small Press Day how chill that really was. But I went there. We had a chat or whatever. I'd done a video about it, and it got a couple of hundred views. People watched it. It was fine. And then a couple of days later, that guy Riley shows up at Eric July's warehouse and tapes money to his front door, and everyone's like, "Oh, you should have shot him! Like, this is outrageous! Like, what a risk to his life! Like, even." Eric July was saying stuff about I got to protect my employees. Like David Ziggy Green, braver man than Eric July. That's
Eric July needs to shut the fuck up for a little while. Take some time to think. Reassess his life and his whole path. And then talk about shooting people.
Who will build the roads? Who will build the roads if he shoots people? Answer me that. Answer me that.
Some in the comments to that Eric July video on the roads thing, someone said, "Oh well, how will you build the roads in communism?" And it's like, by force. Go and find the road.
You build them, or else.
On David Z. Green, before we move on to the next guy, he did publish a book last year called Walkies, like which is like life told from the perspective of a dog or whatever. It's not that interesting to me. Like the art's fine. Like it's got a style to it. He did this one drawing of Nigel Farage. Like that's not in the book. It's just an unrelated drawing they did, and it's really good. Like it looks like a newt or whatever. Like real good stuff. Like used to work for Private Eye. All of those things. But yeah, we're getting quite long already. We're only on number 42 or something.
Yeah.
Should have written the numbers. Next up is Eddie Campbell. Like
Eddie. I like his style.
I like his hairstyle in this picture. He dropped a COVID graphic novel called The Second Fake Death of Eddie Campbell by Eddie Campbell. I love the name. Like there's meta. Like putting your name on there so many times. Notice again, it does say it also down here. Like so that's cool. I would have made him be saying here, "I am Eddie," or something, or not. Like you can squeeze one more in there.
Yeah,
maybe. This is a guy who has like good reputation long term. As an established creator, worked on From Hell or whatever, and great performances in history still influence how influential you are today. Like there's some people on this list who might be successful this year, but their advice maybe I would take less seriously than someone who's been successful for 30 years or whatever. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Definitely here it says making sure you can't forget his name. Thomas Took says, I have met the small press dude. If the same guy, he was all right. Inoffensive, at least. Yeah, he was nice enough. Like,
Hail.
I love that.
Humans, indeed. Who's up next?
Oh yeah.
I know that said that I liked Eddie Campbell's hair, but
yes,
if he was giving out awards for best hair in the industry,
I know this guy. He plays for Megadeth. He's the guitarist. He's the Marty the Friedman.
So
I'm sorry.
So this is obviously Staz Johnson, and is most known for doing Robin and Catwoman in America. Like here, though, he's like a 2000 AD guy. There's
Rogue Trooper. Very good artist. Really good.
Yeah, and I don't know if you know this. You mentioned about Megadeth. This year in 2024, I think they're releasing. So Bruce Dickinson is doing a comic book, like that's somehow tied to Iron Maiden, I think. Like, so they're doing that. And he's also one of, there's a bunch of names you'll notice here that are going to come up of people who have redone this battle action thing. And the covers look sick. Like, you whack a hammer and sickle on something, and I'm interested in consuming it because, comics. Who's next? Oh, John McCrae. This is so. He's also on the list, and he's done some. He did this year this Dark Carnage book with Marvel. Like Carnage isn't dark enough, or whatever. But for me, my main knowledge of this guy comes from when I made that video about them trying to cancel Pat Mills like 7 or 8 months ago. He was one of the people like leading the charge in it, like which leaves a bitter taste in
shame.
Well, what can you do? I like the cover.
Well, that's the thing as well, isn't it? Like, you know, we talk about it often when in the debate about cancel culture, like that we have to be able to separate the art from the artist or whatever. Like,
Yes, it all comes to how good is the art. How
Uh-huh.
that's all it is. I mean,
like you never see anyone look at a Caravaggio and go, murderer. Like,
exactly. Or
just
Borzum, be like, murderer. Anyway,
Yeah. No, but great
for
art.
example. Probably because people who do art stuff are usually mental, like in their own way. That includes all of you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
Let's see.
I-
best compliment I've had all year.
and I'm a murderer.
You also find the most judgmental looking photo you could find.
Yeah.
I love how Joe Glass is peering out from the corner there. Don't forget about me.
It's great,
Yes.
great to stop them, isn't it?
I didn't want to say anything. He's annoying,
He's peering through the shower curtain.
and he's also the right size.
Yeah.
I just want to address this comment from Sven in the chat. Like, I made a video about it. Like, go and have a look. Like, it was a failed cancellation, is how I would describe it. Jim says Smiller's gonna go mad about that forward leg.
Smiller can go fuck himself too.
Vasson reminds us that Van Gogh sent his ear to a woman. Like, not Liam Gray hasn't even done anything that crazy. Like, send her a body part. Charlie's is
That we
here.
know of.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah. Pamela's call. All right, let's see who we got next.
Pat Mills doesn't
yes.
care.
The
This
husband
is
of the woman
Philip
who,
Bond, isn't it?
yeah,
It's a guy from
Correct.
Royal Family. Yeah.
that it's uncanny, that resemblance in it. Like, I bet he gets that all the time. That must be annoying. So his most,
sorry, carry on, Mark.
I was going to say he's most known for doing this book, Kill Your Boyfriend with Grant Morrison. But last year he crowdfunded this book, Geezer, which is, you know, like follows like a pretend Britpop band or whatever through their career. I guess it's like kind of Gorillaz-y. Notice that it's also like record size, which is a bit strange. Like, I understand the decision, like from a artistic kind of thing, but you know, it's annoying to put in your collection, isn't it?
Yeah, well, for American audiences, sure, but in Europe, no one cares.
Yeah, love it.
Yeah.
I hope it's 12 inches as well. Sorry, Alison.
12 inches or what, Willie?
12 inches or what?
I don't know. I was
12
just channeling Joe Glass for a minute there.
You're still peering through that fucking around the corner. This was done on purpose, Mark.
I like Philip Bond. I've met him multiple times. He's a nice guy, and he should stop doing the Jamie Hewlett thing. He should seek life elsewhere. I'm just saying.
I've always liked his stuff.
Yes, his stuff is great, but he does this thing where he reverts into his old school days when he lived with Jamie Hewlett, and things got strange when Jamie became really famous, I bet. Because when he does his own stuff, he's really, really good. But he never does his own stuff after a certain period of time. I don't remember. But I'll come back to it. I
The
need
thing is,
more
if
info.
you read their very early stuff, remember he did like a it was a mag that he did with Jamie Hewlett called Atom Tan. You know, and looking at that, you would have thought Philip Bond would have risen much further, much quicker
Yes.
than Jamie Hewlett, you know. But it wasn't to be. No, he's very talented. You know.
I like him a lot. His wife, not so much.
Yeah,
She
that's a
she
whole.
wanted the Jamie. She got the Philip.
Right.
What? No. Nobody knows. Okay. Next one, please.
Yes, quickly moving on.
Yeah.
Next up is Rob Williams, is one of those guys who's like a current staple, like with like 2000 AD type things. He's also worked on Batman. We gave Russ big credit for doing Batman, let's give that to Rob as well. And he also did a creator-owned book you can see in the background there, Petrolhead. And doing your own IPs is even cooler than doing something for the mainstream, I think, at least. So they get extra credit for that as well. But so, the point is, you're supposed to go to the mainstream, work there for 20 years, and then you leave the mainstream and you get to make the thing that you always wanted in it. And us guys in CG or whatever, we're taking the shortcut. We're just going straight to, let's just make the thing that I want to make. But for these guys playing the game using the system or whatever, that's how you do it.
Oh yeah, I forgot I was in the system. This is funny to me now. It wasn't very funny when I was being cancelled. Anyway. But yes.
Russian prison is harsh.
No. It's beautiful. Fresh air, good rock, great rock.
Good rock.
Best rock. Next up on the list is Liam Sharp. Seems to have scrolled past him on that thing. He's one of those guys, been doing it for ages, lots of big properties, come out with this Starhenge thing. It's doing well. I don't see him getting into fights on Twitter. Maybe he does, some people on this list certainly do. But it just seems like a run-of-the-mill professional or whatever.
Yeah, he's all right. I got Starhenge, good book, and I talked to him on Twitter. He seems fine. There's no issues. He's just there to make comments.
He seems so happy.
He does look like he's living the happiest of lives, don't he? Which, ultimately, isn't that what it's all about? Getting to do the things what you love. Death Metal Hero says Sharpie is great, very kind person to talk with, wicked talented.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, agree.
The shape of his head, not so great. These are jokes, people. Don't take it too seriously if you're watching me.
Death Metal Hero adds he created the design for Death's head too, which is another iconic British thing. Thomas Took says, great artist, Liam, very friendly. He can shave his post down to the elevator pitch. Knows when to keep out of quarrels despite his beliefs. Yes. Professional. That's all we're asking for, isn't it? All right, next up, I've lost what number we're on.
This guy don't look quite as happy, mate.
See, this is where I dozed off while you carried on making the list. I don't know who this is.
So Al Ewing.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah.
I know the name, but I don't know the face.
He's one of those guys who is doing exactly what I said. He's in the American scene, making these big name books, X-Men ones, Thor. He done a Venom book, Avengers. Doing these big properties, building a name for himself, so that eventually you would assume he'll be able to make whatever Al Ewing's thing is, and this grumpy face will turn into a happy face like this. That's what I'm hoping. Who knows? Another interesting side note on his character before we move on to the next one is that he's a bisexual man, and he has all these great opportunities at Marvel.
Good for him.
Next up is Michael Mulcher from 2000 AD. If we were giving away awards for the most pretentious facial hair, it'd be number one on the list of runaway winner. Here's the brand manager for 2000 AD, hosts all of the sort of YouTube stuff. Put out this book last year, I Am the Law, which is a collection of essays about how Judge Dredd, predicted the future. Because, we are inevitably sliding into fascism.
Are we? I guess we
are. We are. It's true.
It's authoritarianism. But yeah, we are.
Yeah.
Ben Spencer says, no wonder 2000 AD is gay.
He looks like a fake French waiter.
Yes.
Not being judgmental, just
He looks like he's good about to serve me some coffee, some really sort of expensive coffee.
Do one of those really shitty designs on your coffee when you get it.
Yeah.
With the milk.
What's interesting to me about Mulcher, this book in particular, is imagine reading a Judge Dredd comic and seeing the political satire underneath it layered on top in meta and stuff, and then thinking, oh my god, this is making serious points. Nobody else has ever realized this before, and making an entire book out of it. It's obviously
and also the fact that it was making points about the actual time that it was written in.
Yeah,
it wasn't even trying to predict the future. It was talking about the actual time that John Wagner and Pat Mills and Alan Grant were all writing it.
Yeah. Great.
Outrageous comment from the chat. For me, I've lumped a lot of these current 2000 AD guys together, on the list of sort of relative similar influence in that they're currently working. But I put Mulcher at the top of them because I feel like he has more power in the office. I can't prove that. But I mean, look how smug he is.
He's probably in charge of the coffee machine,
making sure everyone puts their cups away. I don't know. I just think that he loves himself, and that he thinks he's the smartest person in the room. I know I'm not the smartest person in the room, and I'm by myself.
A picture of yourself smirking will do that efficiently. And also, you are all Englishmen, correct? Correct.
No.
What?
How dare you?
How? What is the term? What's the umbrella term for the island?
British.
Well, I don't know if Wally counts himself as British anymore.
You're all from the island. Okay.
No, I'm African. But okay.
Yeah, you're from the bigger island.
Yeah.
Bigger island.
Keep on going. You insult everybody within about 5 minutes.
Yes. That's what I'm getting at. Well, you are what you are. Anyway. So 2000 AD used to be really cool. Like us in the other side of the world, we used to go around and mug people and get their money and go to the store and buy 2000 AD and be like, oh yes, it was worth the mugging. What happened?
I haven't read it recently, to be honest with you. I keep reading reviews from other people on the forums about and it seems to be really up and down. I don't know. Maybe every time I want to pick it up, I go look around just to get like some reviews of the stories, and it looks like it's lukewarm. Whereas like the first 10 years, first 15, I would say 12 years of it was just pristine. You can't. It was just solid entertainment. It was just really, really good.
Yes.
And now it's a bit more ropey.
And now it's this. Great.
Random sidetrack question: is this guy wearing a suit jacket with no arms?
No, he's wearing a
it's not a waistcoat.
vest.
It's a suit jacket with no arms.
It's a vest.
That's.
Do you think he's got like a wee gold chain?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He looks like he should be on that repair shop program on the BBC. If anybody watches that.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. If I needed someone to repair my pocket watch,
Yeah.
Michael Mulcher would be the man that I would go to.
Or your antique bicycle.
Yeah. Single speed. We're spending too much time on.
I do actually want to read that book, though. I've got to say, I do want.
Oh, Henry Flint is genuinely good. He's like probably my favorite British artist right now. I would say.
Yeah. Again, this is in that same like current 2000 AD-ish kind of crop. Is doing this Hawk the Slayer with Garth Ennis. Like, I just want to point this out because I've mentioned this to Chubb and he didn't really notice this. This book is published directly by Rebellion. This isn't like under the umbrella of 2000 AD, like directly by Rebellion. And I'm not sure what that means, but I know that it means something.
How did you do? Hang on, go back. How can you spend so much time on Mulcher and hardly any time on Henry Flint? Okay, I'll say Henry Flint is an online excellent guy, very, very friendly, very professional, likes a good laugh, never gets into shit slinging or anything like that. Anyways, I think I propose that he should be on this list, but he is very influential. Everybody on these fair isles who is into comics recognizes his style.
And anybody who's working on a Hawk the Slayer comic deserves to be on every list.
Yeah.
Sorry, one thing to add is that he's never really broken into the US market. I think he's done some things, but he's never made like a full leap like a lot of British artists tend to do. Like NHS doctors, once they qualify, they go straight over to the US.
Vertigo is not longer a thing, so that's gone for you British people.
Oh yeah, that's like a bridge or something. I think that he made a lot of money in Honey, I Shrunk the Kids and all of those movies.
Okay, move on. That's nice things about Henry Flint.
That was the answer to the question of how did I move on so fast? Because I want to say that I want to be mean, like, and say horrible things.
Mean, yeah, they're fine. We've got to say some nice things too,
We're not the BBC. We don't have to be balanced. Like, yeah. So next up, Duncan Fegredo. And when this was just a name that existed in my head, I imagined like a beautiful shirtless man riding a horse and stuff like this. I mean, it's fine, like, but not the.
No, I agree with you. I've met him and forgot about it. This is the face, huh? Interesting. Well, his art is good, so good for him.
This giant robot Hellboy cover is sick. Like, I love this cover. Like, I actually want to read this book. Like, that's how good the cover is. Like,
yes.
Death Metal Hero says Vertigo got run straight into the ground by morons.
Exactly.
Yeah. I do like the way they've just called it Giant Robot. No messing. That's the name of the book. Giant Robot.
That's good.
Right.
Straight to the money.
Yeah. No messing.
I mean, It's not as good as the second fake death of Eddie Campbell by Eddie Campbell, the artist Eddie Campbell or whatever. Like,
we cannot all be Andy Campbell.
No.
Yes, we can. I am Eddie Campbell.
I am Andy Campbell. I am Eddie Campbell.
Rebellion Duo in 2000 AD. That's factually correct. Good year. Working on Hellboy. That's a big American property in it. Like, it's only going to boost his profile. Good work.
I wish he was doing more of his own things. He has been doing Hellboy. He has been cosplaying Mike Mignola for 20 years. Almost.
Does anybody remember the Enigma graphic novel that he did, but with Vertigo back in the 90s?
Yes.
That was good.
That's the same guy.
Yes, carry on.
Well, he got better.
Yeah. Still like that, like a grittiness. He seems to have shaken off, but yeah, he does a good. He does Mignola, but not quite Mignola.
Yes, that's what I mean. I'm sorry. I'm coming out harsh. Maybe it's my voice. I don't know, but he's a great artist, and he, in some aspects, is more impressive than Mike. But I would like to see him do his own thing and spread his wings and fly.
Nice.
Beautiful words from our cousin.
Thank you.
On the other side.
Thank you.
The steps of the Caucasus.
Thank you. Yeah. You inspire me.
Move on. Enough. We can't say anything bad about Duncan.
Next.
So
Mark's on mute.
Next.
Mark.
You're on
I
mute.
think he's going to take a piss.
Mark has died.
But I'm back. Cool. Right, who's next on the list? Also, at this point, my notes aren't notes anymore. They're just names. Like, but we're getting into the more popular people, so you're more likely to know who these people are.
Joel McHale.
Don't any of these people smile, except for
Liam.
I think
Liam's the only one who's happy.
Let's see how high up the list you have to be before you start smiling.
Britain, though, that's why they're not smiling.
God, he's just making me feel uncomfortable like that. It's like, so.
Move on to the next one.
I know what
I can't even look at the screen.
He has a very harsh face. It's a beautiful harsh face. He has no eyebrows, but he has a great big thick nose. But he has very thin and wide lips. But he has a very big jaw. So his face is very intense.
He looks like he would be a good leader of the henchmen. You know, like the top henchman.
Nazi. Nazi. He's a Nazi.
Just needs a dueling scar, and he'll be good to go.
Cross his eye.
Fucking hell. Jack's Law in the chat. Oh my gosh.
Good grief.
Let's not dwell on this one. Mark, say what you were going to say. Let's be
I'm sorry.
His eyes are burning a line across my forehead.
I can't look away.
Oh my God. What are you doing?
That's better.
Dan Abnett, this is. He's doing some American stuff. You can see he's got a group there. But he's also authoring Warhammer books. And those sell huge, so that's good.
I can tell he has money. You know how? The glasses. He thinks he can pull it off, but he knows he cannot. But he has money, therefore, glasses.
First we get the spice, then we get the money, then we get the power, then we get the war.
And then we get the glasses.
There we get the glass.
Yeah, so tapping that Warhammer market's good. Like it's an adjacent market to us. Like I said, find that comic book shop in between CEX and Games Workshop, and you'll make $1 bajillion. Speaking of comic shops, we're getting into gatekeepy territory now. So this is Josh Palmano, who is the owner of Gosh Comics, which is probably the most famous independent comic book store in the UK. I think that's probably fair to say.
Yeah.
I know Yannick's by you, sort of, in Nodnol. You been there? What's your experience?
It's okay. It's the good stuff's downstairs in the basement, as most places are. But yeah, it's a busy shop. It gets a lot of. I want to say it's on the edge of 5 dials, but I'm sure Thomas Took's going to go. No, it's on this road. But I would say it's
somewhere in Soho between the sex shops.
Yeah, well, it's on 5 dials, so it's a little bit out of Soho, but it's downstairs. The guys down there are really good, but upstairs it's just very touristy. But they do gangbusters. Don't get me wrong; they must sell. God knows how.
You'd have to though for that area. So
yeah,
and it's not just Gosh that he owns. He also owns Breakdown Press and Knockabout. One of which is, they do your classic lesbian bicycle comics about women's struggles, and then one of them just sells manga, the one making the actual dollars in it. You can have your virtue signally shop or whatever, but even still in the background you're just selling mangas to keep yourself afloat.
He looks like he's making good money. You know how I know that? Glasses.
He looks like he's giving a TED talk or something.
I'm telling you. I know. I am onto something.
This picture of him reminds me of, Big Red. You know who Big Red is?
The robot. The robot.
This is Big Red.
Oh yeah.
Yes. He's big nothing.
Yeah.
Big balls. I'm just messing. Big balls, you chub. It's always.
It's a whole different game there. Don't mess with a chub.
I just feel like this guy would show up for his TED talk on a Segway. He'll ride it in this thing. He's coming on his Segway as he's coming on.
Yes, exactly.
Explains the angle. Yeah.
You know why?
Why?
Blue shirt.
Blue shirt, yes. And he might even have what do they call the Apple people in the shop?
Geniuses.
Geniuses. They have genius written on it.
Yes.
And a final point on Gosh before we move on. When I hear the word Gosh, it gives me, I think about J.M. Barrie and I think about Great Ormond Street Hospital, and I feel like it's kind of trading a little bit on their name, that I have a great amount of goodwill towards children's hospitals, and I feel like it's cheapening that, to a degree.
I didn't know that. What I got from it is that it's like a mid-90s rave clubber culture type of British magazine, like The Face.
Yeah,
your glasses.
No. The Gosh, and the logo.
Okay. I don't know where they got that from. It looks almost like Tiki Lounge sort of font.
Yeah.
I I don't have a problem with it. I mean, I think
No.
Yeah.
it's good. It's there. I'm glad it's. I've been to the shop myself. They do support a lot of small press ventures. You can find a lot of those comics in there. In the basement, you've got all your back issues and things.
Okay, I have a serious question. So,
Yeah.
if you were going to take your book to him, what would happen?
It's a good question. Mark, you should get
First
another
of all,
trophy, and you and I go to
you-
Gosh.
If Chubb went to Gosh to sell him a book, the first thing that he would do is, you know, when you touch yourself to check if it's a reflection in the mirror. But yeah, so it's important to point out that while, like, we're sympathetic towards shop owners whose businesses are struggling because of the quality of the comics that they're able to sell, but as indie creators, we also have to recognize that they hold this gatekeeping position of they can just like block you out of the market entirely, especially when the market is controlled by such a small group of people, like which we're gonna get into.
I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Mark, should we do a show whereby I submit my comic to Gosh to display on their floor, and we see what happens?
Yes, you should do it. That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
Because it is a good book and it's finished and you have it, and you should, if anybody else has a book like that, they should try. Why not? I mean, I wasn't always a great, beautiful, famous comic book creator. I was once a self-publisher creator too. So I know that it's very important to go to the stores and be like, "Hey, fucker, this is my book. Take it."
I'll even
That you will make thank you.
We should try it. There's someone. I'm in London. I'll definitely go.
Mechanoid says, looks like the guy from the Gadget Show.
Yes, that's what I was trying to think of. I was like, this guy looks exactly like someone. Yeah, that guy annoyed me as well.
You should get along.
So
there's something to talk about. Hey, we're both bald. We both wear glasses. We both like comic books.
Comic books, they're so sneaky.
Next up on the list, another woman. This is
I feel
Emma
judged.
Haley. I don't know if people are familiar with who Emma Haley is.
Nope.
She is the owner of this company, Self-Made Hero, like that publishes books from creators from diverse ethnic backgrounds. I mean, pretty solidly all middle class, like university graduates, but they have a range of skin colors. And I first became aware of this person because they had this company, Self-Made Hero, published a book with the naked, exposed breasts of a 15-year-old trans girl on the cover. Obviously a book with some child porn on the cover, like obviously it got great press coverage, like on your Brokeback Frontiers and stuff. But it's not cool, like to put children's breasts on the front of your cover. And also Self-Made Hero, you may remember if you watch this channel a lot, they're one of the companies that are funded by the National Lottery's grant system, the art from the Arts Council of England. They get a lot of state-sponsored funding in that way, or they used to. When she started, she took a lot of money from the government in sponsorship and other words, but then eventually flipped the company and sold it to Abrams and Chronicle Books, which is an American publisher. So it's good work for taking the taxpayers' money and then converting it into profits to sell for yourself. Good work, Emma Haley. Taxpayers' money. But she is tired, says Jack.
She does look shattered, to be fair.
Yes. I wanted to ask, Comi Mark, where do you find these pictures?
He's picked the best pictures. That's all I can say.
Because you put a lot of effort into cropping the thing out from previous pictures, but are they all like this? Is this?
Are they all cropped?
Is this their? No, I mean are they all tired and grumpy and upset?
No, Liam Sharp was happy.
Well,
I'll say it again. It is Britain, remember? So
Henry Flintlock was smiling as well.
yeah, he's a cheery guy.
Well,
I think that it's a smile that Joe Glass has got. It's just not one that any human would recognise.
It's the smile. It's the smile of someone embarrassed to show their teeth. Like that's what that is. And I can understand that.
Sad.
Mucky Mouse says, I remember a woman in England getting 30k of grant money to dance naked with a dead pig. I remember when someone done a sort of dance with a dead pig and then got elected fucking prime minister. Like, that's crazy.
I wasn't there. More than a dance.
I did for free.
Good grief.
And the pig, of course.
Are we talking about Black Mirror? What's going on?
Kinda. Yeah.
Oh, it's for real. Like at Eton, David Cameron put his
He
penis
knows.
the dead pig.
He knows. He's not really Russian.
I just wanted
One
to say
second.
We'll do it.
Anything to add on Emma Haley? No, good work. This is exactly the sort of model that we've been talking about, and trying to understand how the funding system works. I look around at the UK industry, and a lot of it, I think, how is this making any money? And then we discovered Art Council funding.
Yeah,
that's how it makes money.
I have another idea. Why don't you get a fund?
Oh, so that's a thing that I'm working on in the background already. I gotta write a thing first.
Yes. Yes, because you can, between you can get multiple funds for the arts and even funds for exporting culture to the world as British people. Basically you make something up and then get the money.
One of the things that we learned in our research into the Arts Council, and there's a great video with Alexander Adams on the channel. He's a bit of an expert on that subject. Go and watch that video. But one of the things that we learned is, of course, the Arts Council likes to promote diversity in any way they can, all of that kind of stuff. And to get funding, if you have something a bit like that, you may stand a better chance. And it would just be really helpful for us, if someone had a comic totally based on culture, and bringing the message of different cultures to our culture or whatever, helping Hindu people to integrate in society or whatever. Krishna Kid is
it's the UK has never had any Indian people.
Yes.
We should really get some.
And you can also get a fund from the Indian government or ambassador or something. I'm serious.
I already was offered a publishing deal in India for Krishna Kid.
There you go.
But I'm not Mitch Brightweiser, so I'm going to wait till I've fulfilled all of my books before I take it. All right, let's move on. Who's next? Bob Moran. This is going to be controversial, with comics people like that we've even included him on the list. Is like a cartoonist or whatever, like and I put this one in there. This is one of my favorites. It's Amnesty. Like, you can read it. It's really great. Like, these sorts of comics are so powerful. Like, this is where it all comes from. Like, political comics. You know, the political comics of like the 1800s or whatever. You know, mocking kings and stuff. Like, we owe it all to that. Like, it's all born out of satire.
Yes, it's all a commentary on the society and also a move on propaganda. But it's good propaganda because it's your idea, so fuck it.
Yeah, as long as you're not pushing the man's idea. What I love about this Amnesty one in particular is like we all read it and we understand the context of it, but it doesn't like say COVID, it doesn't say injections, like it doesn't say vaccine, like it doesn't have any of the words in it. Like it's entirely divorced from what it's talking about, but still like plainly says what it's trying to say. Like and yeah, I don't want to be too Alan Moore-esque, but this is the point. This is what we're supposed to be doing. Like we're supposed to be changing people's minds.
Yes.
People say to me, "Oh, why are you hanging out with Comicsgate? Like when you're a far left person." It's like these are the people whose minds I'm supposed to be changing. Like, what's the point in saying it to people who already agree with me? That's dumb. Like
I have to say, since I've met Comic Mark, I haven't washed my jeans.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't own any jeans, but that's not the point.
Okay.
Can I,
Mother.
if I may just say, what this guy, I can almost predict what university that he went to. It would have either been, I've written it down, St Martin's, London Print University, or Bristol University, because of that outfit. Every one of my friends has exactly this outfit. I think I own that blazer. Look, if I stand it,
I actually own that blazer too. I'm not joking.
I know it's like a uniform for people. And I'm guessing he's probably it's very much. I bet if we look him up, I bet he went to Bristol University.
Definitely Hero in the chat says, good satire makes you engage your brain. It requires the audience to participate in the story. Now,
Yes.
I have a thing that my method goes one step beyond that, yeah? The way that I describe it is, my aim is to make you, the reader, think that you are smarter than me for working out the solution to the problem presented before I do, when really, you know, like I've built that problem to bring you to that solution. Like you're whatever, this guy he's crushing it. He's like the most.
I understand what you're saying. I I agree. It's kind of like a Agatha Christie type of story. You have to hook engagement, and it also goes to the philosophy. What's his face? He's a Greek guy or something. But he's basically birthing you into the conclusion.
Yeah. It's like Inception or something. Like nothing would be better for me than we're just at the end of Act 2, and you think in your brain, oh, the hero's gonna have to do communism. It's the only way. Like of one. Like that was what we was trying to do. Bob Moran, super cancelled for being conservative, saying these types of things.
I don't even think Bob Moran is conservative. He was a Guardianist. He was a Guardianist. He was a Guardian cartoonist for many years before. You know, he got kicked out of there.
Well, is a Guardian left wing? Not compared to me.
Let's move on.
Yeah.
But yeah, his show got cancelled recently, so I think he's landed on his feet after that.
Final thing before we move on to John Freeman. Bob Moran is the Stone Toss of the UK. I just wanted that.
He's better than Stone Toss, definitely. I think.
His art's definitely better than Stone Toss's, but it's not about the quality of it. It's about the inserting the idea into your brain. Yeah, so John Freeman of downthetubes.net, like the most impartial comic book news website on the entire internet. Like one of the things that I'm always acutely aware of whenever I'm reading news, not just about comic books, about everything, you know, what is the bias of the source, like you know, the certain organizations aren't going to rat on themselves. You know, that's the kind of thing that everyone has like a leaning, you have to adjust for it. Sometimes, you know, you can read like some propaganda and from that extract what the truth is, because it's the things that they're not saying like in the art. But down the tubes, straight down the middle, like no nonsense, like unbiased. Like
it's about the comic books. John Freeman is very professional. I really like his website, and he's a nice guy. Yeah.
Yep, nice guy. Probably a website.
Yeah, it puts a lot of work into it. I highly recommend visiting the site. It's a very deep site too. You'll find all sorts of things, not just comic news, but resources on doing your own published work. Everything. I haven't even scratched the surface of how much content there actually is on it.
And
with the focus, it's about all comic books, but there's a specific focus on British comics.
You'll find as well everybody that contributes to the site just loves comics. So they're just writing articles specifically about things they love. That's what's good about it.
And he does a lot of work outside of downthetubes.net. Like he has his own, he makes his own books with B7 Media, and he's also involved in the election process of comics laureates for the International Lakes Comic Con or whatever that group was called. Like, because as we're getting into the meaty sort of section of the list, you're going to notice more and more of like these connections and like where they overlap, where the power is concentrated in the hands of a small number of gatekeepers. But he seems cool. Like he's on he's doing good, like good work. All right, next up.
Agreed.
Who's
this guy?
It's Mark Buckingham. Like so I don't think that he's done much recently, like but he makes the list for selling Dead Boy Detective to HBO Max for like a TV series or something. I know that HBO Max did the Doom Patrol series, which is not directed by like Dan Fragger's involved with it, and our good friend Dan Fragger. Like we have some we did a RTF Comics Against Got Talent with Dan Fragger. It's a really fun show. Go and watch that one. My only real observation about Mark Buckingham is like it's got a bit of craziness in his eyes, don't you think? Like right here, it's kind of like a friendly craziness, but I've seen some other ones where, guy seems like
knowing craziness.
Well, his art looks good, so he can be a little crazy. We will allow it.
I did say earlier they're all crazy. All artists are a little bit like crazy in it. Because if you wasn't crazy, you'd be a scientist or something like that, like or an engineer, like fucking yeah.
Could be a mad scientist.
So right now, this part of the list, we're sort of getting into like people from quote unquote the old days, like who are still putting out stuff, like and still making a difference. Next person on the list is Dave McKean, like who put out this award-winning Tiger, like in 2023. So that's good. It's a children's book, from what I understand. And seeing the Tiger spelled with a Y like this, I can't help but think of, you know, the Comicsgate book Blue Tiger.
Blue.
Tiger Blue, that's what it's called, isn't it?
I've always liked David McKean stuff, even though it isn't strictly, a lot of it to me isn't strictly speaking comics, but design, you know. But yeah, I mean, he's made the list obviously because of this latest venture, which I'll agree. You know, I'll admit I haven't read yet, but it's bound to be quality.
Yeah, I dig that. I'll give that a go.
Yeah.
The last thing I bought for Dave McKean was a children's book he did with Richard Dawkins, which was a science book. Yeah.
With Richard Dawkins, that's interesting. The main thing, one of the things that for me is interesting about Dave McKean is he put out a anti-Islamic terror book, like with the theme of let's educate religious extremists. Like it's about like a Muslim child who goes to the library, like and you know learns. It's about how like learning is the path to enlightenment, like, or you know, something like that. But he got in trouble for making the character like a Muslim, you know, because Muslim equals terrorist equals bad or whatever. Like when it's not really about like Islam or being Muslim, it's about libraries. It's about how you can get all. It's about passing on information, like about.
Mark, you don't have to explain the cognitive dissonance.
Yes.
The comics industrial complex. We understand.
Mm-hmm. Just does my head in. Like, I don't understand. Are they stupid or are they willfully, like, misrepresenting? Like,
I think it's a little bit of both.
Yes, exactly. It's both.
He's almost smiling in this photo.
Yeah.
Almost.
The ones who willfully misrepresent are the ones who get the money for the council. And then it's the idiots that just follow them.
And it's
maybe right. There may be an interesting correlation between those things.
That looks good. I get us.
And you know, has a historic record of bangers or whatever. Like,
yes.
I can only imagine the royalty checks from like Sandman covers or
Sandman Cages is his own work, which is quite good. Yeah, it's a long run with Neil Gaiman.
And
almost
he looks like my uncle. Like, I don't mean like, oh, he looks like he could be my uncle. I mean, he looks like my uncle in it. And sometimes there's people who, you know, they remind you of someone that you know, and it grants them all this extra grace, like and bias. Like the same is true with David Ziggy Green. Remember the Jam Bookshop guy? Like when I met him in person, he reminded me so much of my best friend when I was 5 years old. It was disarming. Like,
was he a lot taller than your best friend back then, or?
He was a lot taller than my 5-year-old best friend. Yes.
Did your best friend at 5 years old have a beard?
He didn't. Yeah.
Failed a
But,
few years.
but
It would be very interesting.
here in the People's Democratic Republic of Birmingham, we have a very large Muslim population. And one year, it was Halloween. Someone knocked on my door, and I'd forgotten it was Halloween. You know, it's 8 o'clock or whatever. It's the first one. So I go to the door and I answer it and I open it, and there is like a boy who is 8 years oldish with a full beard, and he wasn't dressed up. Like it was
Yes.
Halloween, but he wasn't wearing a costume.
He was just Turkish.
He was Pakistani, I'm quite sure. He had a better beard than I have now, and I'm 37 years old or whatever. Like,
Jesus, you're ancient, Mark. I didn't even know you were that old.
Oh,
Just sort yourself out. My God, stop.
Stop being
right off
old.
the show.
Why are you being old? Stop it. We will have none of that stuff over here. Are you local?
Peter Milligan. Love Peter
Yeah.
Milligan.
Peter Mulligan, yeah. Again, one of these people playing the game perfectly, doing American stuff for the name recognition, and then doing the thing that you actually want to do, like create around making the dollars for yourself.
Him and Brendan McCarthy's stuff is my favorite artwork from him, to be honest. Brendan McCarthy's also another character.
Brendan McCarthy last year would have made the list, but has in the last year retired in it, because he's reached that age where his eyesight's not good, and isn't able to draw to the level that he previously was. That's not me casting aspersions. That's like his own words in it. Like I've seen him saying.
But he said he wanted to focus on stories going forward, from what I know.
And he got a lot of mainstream recognition for his work in the new Mad Max movie or whatever.
Yeah, of course. Mad Max, that's totally his baby. You know, I'm with the making of book with all his art, working with Adam Miller. No, it's pretty much almost all of him. His Freakwave stuff is almost like a reimagining of Mad Max, but at sea. It's almost like Waterworld before Waterworld. It's great.
Yes. And if he has trouble with his eyesight, I can fix the problem right away. Draw bigger. I don't see the problem.
We should have Marduk on more often. He's like the solver of all because we have conundrums from time to time, but we never have solutions. But now this is different.
It's been in front of us all this time. We just needed somebody to tell us.
Yes.
Let
me say one thing, please. It was really nice meeting you all through the internet, but I think on this very high, excellent note, I will go away. We are on different time zones, and it's very late. So it was great talking to you, and I will catch you on the Twitter tomorrow.
All right,
bye, guys.
Yes,
Thanks for joining us.
Be great. Get the funds and get the comics into that foofy store. Okay. Bye.
We'll do that.
All right. Cool. We are past halfway through the list.
What? We're already halfway?
This is at the top 5.
I'm going to the loo before I pee my pants. I don't have a postbottle.
Dave's passed out.
We will pick up the pace a little
Dave's
bit.
Dead.
Next on the list is Frank Quitely. Who did this book with Mark Millar this last year, the ambassadors, also doing work for Batman and Robin, for Batman Reborn. Batman is like the pinnacle of mainstream books that you can do, like in my opinion, at least.
His All-Star Superman is better though. But, yeah.
Oh,
But yeah, no, he's great. Great artist. Good guy.
he's smiling as well.
He is smiling, yes. That's a great point. Like lots of people saying goodbye to Marduk. Like he did really good on it. Like I really enjoyed having him here. Very funny. Death Metal Hero says Dave's not here, man.
Dave's dead.
McCanoid says definitely complex, but seems less industrial, leaning to institutional.
Who's this? Oh,
Frank Quietly, this is.
Yeah.
Another guy who seems to be one of those who shows up, he does the work, like he does it good, like no complaints, like good work, Frank.
Yeah. No, he's universally liked.
And Scottish as well, is worth pointing out.
Oh yeah.
It's one of Willie's guys. Let's go back one sec. Death Metal Hero says, all of Quietly's people always look like they're made out of cottage cheese to me. Oh, if I'd have known that was an insult, if I'd have read the whole comment, like I wouldn't have gone back to that. Go on then, Chubb, this is your man, Mike.
Yeah, Mick McMahon. Nah, he's great. He's like the precursor to Jamie Hewlett's stuff. He's the guy who stylized Judge Dredd, gave him the big boots, made everything look massively cool. He's like one of those stars of 2000 AD and by extension UK comics. That's in the background is the Apex edition that came out, I think, quite recently.
In last year, yeah, for sure.
I wish I could afford that. It's
look how thick it is. It's got to be like 300, 400 pages or something.
Perfect. Yeah, it was a strange book. Probably not this book, I think.
Chubb identifies with every bold comic creator with
You know, this is the saying that goes that grass doesn't grow on a busy road. So it's a sign of a busy mind, I think. You guys should try it. It's great.
I'll give that a go.
We've already shaved off your beard, so you're almost like, on your way.
I'm nearly there, getting there.
Yeah.
Turn me upside down,
We got Ian Gibson next, who we lost in 2023.
Yeah.
Most famous for his work with Alan Moore and Halo Jones, whatever. But he did have this crowdfunded book last year, Lifeboat. Like, I'm not sure what the status is with that, whether it was finished, whether it was unfinished.
It was finished. It was delivered. I'm looking for a copy. I need to get. It's fully painted, traditionally, and it looks beautiful. Worth checking out.
Cool. Next up, we got, of course, Pat Mills, the creator of 2000 AD. Like, many people, when I was promoting this show, were saying the most influential UK creator of all time. Like, on an all-time list, he's certainly up there. I mean, for me, Alan Moore's always going to be number one. Like, for me, Alan Moore.
That's how you divide it up. If it's the most influential modern day UK creator, that's not going to be Frank Bellamy or anybody. It would be Pat Mills. Because of the connection with 2000 AD and because of the creation of all those properties.
Well, yeah, no 2000 AD, no Alan Moore.
Yeah,
like that's quite a simple line to draw, and like no Pat Mills, no Alan Moore, like that goes without saying.
You've got Des Skin as well with Warrior Magazine. I mean, that's really what launched Alan Moore. It was Marvel Man and Warrior Magazine.
Okay.
You know, it was again. It's Alan Moore started as a shtick where he takes somebody else's creations and he turns them into what suits him. You know, very little originality there.
Like, it's kind of like what I've been doing. You know, Pat Mills on Twitter, great. Like, he'll seems to interact with anyone. Like, is not one of those judgmental people. Has been crushing it with this Requiem Vampire Night en français. Like, and you know, that's the thing that we've talked about here as well. Like, how do we conquer Europe? Like, and then how do we sell them comic books? He also this year released another book, Page Turners, which I've been reading. It's like his version of how to write good stories or whatever. Like, it's always interesting to see other people's processes and and if there's anything that you can take from that and apply to your own work.
Yeah. Pat Mills is more of a Ledroit. How do you spell Ledroit? To my Anglo tongue, it's Ledroit. Ledroit. How do you pronounce his surname?
So droit, droit or whatever, DROIT, or in French means right, like duet mon droit, like God is my right or whatever. So it means the right.
The right.
Yes, in French, like. But I mean, what do names mean?
I just want to know how it sounds in French.
Detroit. Yeah.
I think I would say Ledroit.
Ledroit.
I think the T would be silent. But I also know that the wine Merlot, how we don't pronounce the T.
Yes.
You're supposed to pronounce the T apparently.
Merlot.
French is different. If you're stupid, you say Merlot. If you're smart, you say Merlot. And if you're actually smart, you say Merlot again. It's a Dunning-Kruger thing or whatever.
I prefer a Cabernet Sauvignon myself.
Oh.
McCanoid says it's like Detroit.
Detroit. La Detroit.
In real life,
Pat Mills, can I say Pat Mills? If you were to do like a holy trinity for writers, it's Pat Mills, John Wagner, and Alan Grant.
Yeah.
For UK comics, those are the three. All three of them together.
Undisputed.
I seem to have missed on this one. Like, here's your man John Wagner as well. Like, in this section, I've lumped together like the 2000 AD legends or whatever, but I'm going to give the top position in this number 20 on the list, maybe, to Dog. Like, because, like, for all the great work that the individuals do for 2000 AD, like, many people like me, they don't even read the credits. Like, for the longest time, I didn't know who wrote what. I didn't know who drew what. I was just following characters in it. Like, I wasn't a fan of this writer. I was a fan of this character. Like, Tharg is a representative of 2000 AD as a whole, bigger than Pat Mills and Wagner and Mulcher and John McCrae and all of those guys. Like, they will eventually die, like, and they'll be remembered, but Tharg will live on forever. Like, do you know what I mean? Like it's like I'm using him as a representative for the brand identity of 2000 AD. Like the that's bigger than any one of the individual creators.
I mean, coming up with some weird green otherworldly creature to present your comic book is almost like a uncanny thing that that just like has to be done. What can I say? Yeah, the influences of Tharg.
That is a winner.
It's
When
like,
are those? Is that what is that the print? Is that the
That's the
print?
print. That's the first proof print. The other one's turning up tomorrow. I'm getting them done in gloss and in matte to see which looks the best. I'm using 2 different printers to see which one I'm going to go with. So, yeah, this is everything's done. It's just it's gorgeous.
Looking forward to it.
There's something so special about holding the book, isn't there? Like,
Yeah,
I thought the first time that I ever printed a book,
I never read them. I just hold them. Broke them occasionally.
It's great to have this electrical impulse in your brain translated into a physical, tangible object. Like that's what creation is. Do you know what I mean? Like it's real powerful stuff.
Can I just say that I think Pat Mills, did he not come out and say that he kind of regrets having Tharg as the spokesperson or the editor of the comic because it put the creators in a second-hand position as if they were like subservient to him as robots rather
There
than
were a lot
real
of things
people.
that they did in the beginning. I mean, they didn't credit the artists and the writers right in the beginning. They used to cover up their names and things to create their idea that it was created by some team of robots. The art droids and the writer droids. I think they call them writer droids, or it was written by Tharg. I forget exactly how it was done, but yeah, it did have that effect. Unfortunately.
When you're a kid, I thought it was great.
Yeah, but as you get older, you want to follow this particular artist's work because you just click with what they're doing. And whatever they touch, it will be in that same sort of vein.
The 2000 AD was kind of unique in that it was very much creator driven. Even for as kids, kind of reading it, you saw such a diverse number of styles there. There was always something in a story that you could latch onto.
Yeah, there was a lot of variety. That was nice about the anthology style of short comic books. Incidentally, just to drop this in, apparently Requiem Vampire Night was pitched. Pat Mills pitched it to 2000 AD, and they rejected it, and that's where you took it to Europe, or formed a company in Europe to self-publish it, and took off from there. But it's amazing, isn't it? That something in hindsight that looks like a surefire win. Just wasn't picked up.
On Tharg, like this idea of having fictional editor, like we do that in Not Daredevil. Like in the Not Daredevil books, like obviously I'm the editor, but I also exist as a character like in universe who's like in charge of the superheroes, like imagine somewhere in between like J. Jonah Jameson and Nick Fury, like that I'm the editor of the comic, but I'm also sending them off to do the missions that are the stories that we make the comics about, like and the comic books exist in the universe, like meta in it.
So meta.
Death Metal Hero says not super familiar with 2000 AD outside of Judge Dredd. Any standouts that I should hunt down?
Oh yeah, there were loads of things. Anything that Alan Moore did.
You'll love Slain.
Slain, you'll absolutely adore.
That's
Pat Mills. Yeah, no. Track down Slain, Nemesis. Anything by Pat? Well, anything by Alan Moore. So Halo Jones, you've got to get. That's really really good. Dion Quince. There is Strontium Dog by John Wagner.
Oh
That
yeah,
is
that's a banger.
it's like a futuristic Western comics, almost involving mutants. Great stories.
Yeah.
Rogue Trooper, excellent art. I would definitely say that's worth tracking down for a few volumes.
Yeah, good story for the first couple of volumes, and then it's
Yeah.
What I would suggest
Zenith
as a
is good.
tactic. Oh, go on. Do you have something specific to recommend?
One more thing, and that's Grant Morrison's Zenith. His early comics. That series I did for 2000 AD, I would say that's really good. I think for the story.
and I would say there's 2 volumes from Rebellion of the Dan Dare comics, and they're worth getting because the early ones by with Massimo Bellardinelli's artwork are just mental.
Yeah,
that's crazy. And then you get some early Dave Gibbons stuff after the fact. The stories are a bit blander, but nice Dave Gibbons artwork. But yeah, that's worth checking out.
And what I was going to suggest is just find like any UK creator that you're a fan of, and at some point they worked at 2000 AD. 2000 AD sort of works as like a comic book finishing school for UK creators. Like they work there, like they learn to deliver the books within their 30-day period or however long they have to write it. Like they learn how to do it, then move to America, like to make their dark carnage.
Doctors, yeah.
Hungry Dunk says Apocalypse War, Mean Machines / Angel Gang, Curse Death, Bad Company, Judge Death.
Bad Company, yeah, by Peter Milligan. Peter Milligan, Brett Ewins. Yeah, definitely that's really good. Track that down.
Lots of
futuristic war story, but yeah, it's good.
And they all rattle along at a pace because you were talking about 3 or 4 pages every week in the comic to get the story going. So they just go.
Dense storytelling. Yeah. What else? Yeah. No, there's so much of it. I'm just trying to recollect, what's released. But a lot of it just. You would not go wrong with the first 10 or 12 years of 2000 AD. Pick anything out of there, and chances are it's really good. Yeah.
If you like cowboys and dinosaurs, Flesh.
Flesh, yeah, it's another one. Yeah.
Right here, at this point in the list, we're about to make a step, like to what I'm gonna consider the next level, like where there was early people on the list that are mostly like indie kind of guys, like around the sort of Twitter scene where we are. Then we got to this sort of the 2000 AD chunk of pro UK guys, like who've been around for a while, like doing their thing. From this point on, particularly last year, this for me is the real power players. This is the people to watch, and it like from this point on, the order, the choice of where everyone lies, very deliberate. Like, and the first person that we're gonna talk about is your man, Rich Johnston. Who obviously runs Bleeding Coal, like which is a website, a comic book news website. I previously described Bleeding Coal as the Daily Express of comic book news. Like
it's where you go if you've not got enough malware on your computer.
If you like pop-ups, it's great.
Yeah,
like that's for sure. This is a guy. He can pick and choose what things to promote, like on his website. So he has like a gatekeeping role. It seems to be very anti sort of the area that we are occupying. But to his credit, it's not super like into your lesbian bicycle comics either. But it seems to have his hooks into people in the industry outside of the UK. I mean, like there's got access and influence on a level much higher than anyone that we've previously seen on the list. Jackal Slaw says, I think someone scared this shit out of him. Oh, how much? Am I the only one who thinks this? Doesn't he look like Justin Lee Collins? Remember Justin Lee Collins? I know.
Yes.
Dave, from your town.
Yeah, I met him down Breen Leisure Park one time. It was weird.
Oh.
That was before he got done. Did he get done for beating his wife or something? Or
that's old. That's for sure.
Yeah, it was before all that. And he had that chat show with Alan Carr.
Mm.
Oh yeah, the Friday Night Project. Death Metal says, "Ha, Bleeding Cool is the clickiest of clickbait crap." Well,
yeah.
As a news source, it's definitely worse than Down the Tubes, but in a measure of influence, I think
it's one of those unfortunate side effects. Down the Tubes, for what it is, should be a hell of a lot better than Bleeding Cool, but it's not the most sensible sort of people who make it to the top. It's the loudest ones who, mind you, I mean, we're in that race too, aren't we? We're reluctantly trying to compete in because we don't have backing of large publishers or news sites or what have you. So we've got.
I've tried getting money for the council. It just didn't work. They don't like you if you're over 50.
I still got time.
Yep.
All right. Next on the list, I wanted to put some special praise onto Jamie Smart. He started as a dandy artist, I believe, and now is winning awards for Bunny versus Monkey and his other book. Star Rat, does that say? I can't say. I've covered it.
Star-Tat?
Maybe. The point is, that we can see there's a trend in the market for this kind of book. Bunny versus Monkey is the UK's version of a Captain Underpants or a Dogman or something, these books that are making children read comic books. I know that I'm often intellectually elitist about how books are supposed to have messages, it's supposed to have some deep theme, we're supposed to be saying something, but this role of providing books for children to read who become the future adult readers of said intellectual elitist material, it's important that these guys exist. And would I be writing comic books today if I hadn't have been reading the Beano when I was 5? I don't know. I don't know if that's I do know, probably not. It's the answer. Jamie Smart is absolutely crushing it, selling big books, making big dollars, and scooping up all the awards for it. But next on the list, I want to point to this guy, David Fickling, who is the guy publishing these books. He's the guy who started the Phoenix. I don't know if you're familiar with the Phoenix. It's a children's comic book. But if you type like UK comics into Google, like it's going to be the #1 search result. You know, like in that section above the search results for the ad section, like it will be there. Like Skaya's crushing it in dominating that UK children's market. Like has really stepped up to provide that, which is, you know, really necessary.
Yeah, I mean, it was the Dandy that closed its doors. I think about 5 or 6 years ago. And I think Jamie Smart started. He started his mainstream sort of comics at the Dandy, and they didn't last. So it's a good thing that Phoenix stepped up as a subscription service for kids, parents buying their books. And I've got a few copies lying at home, and there's a lot of variety to the content. You know, different levels of interest and reading ability required. No, it's good. It's good to see that.
What other thing? Like I've been editing Krishna Kids like the last couple of weeks or whatever, and I keep finding myself thinking like, is this issue? I think Krishna Kid issue 1 could be appropriate for children. Like I mean, it has a little bit of blood, like and you know, it's a scene where like someone's been punched and a tooth's flying out. Like I don't think it's overly gory. I mean, issue 2 of Krishna Kid's got tits in. Tits aren't appropriate for kids. Like Emma Haley, if you're listening. Like all right, children's comics are important. Like we're supposed to somebody, not me, somebody else is supposed to be building this bridge for children readers to become adult readers. Like that's really important that somebody does that. I don't want to do it, but somebody else should. Jamie Smart, David Ficking, good work on doing that. But both of them pale in comparison to the Beano itself. Like this is John Anderson, the editor of the Beano. Like Beano is absolutely crushing it. Still does 40,000 copies a week or whatever. Like numbers that mainstream American comic books would kill for. I don't know if there's anyone more influential in children's comic books than the Beano itself. Dev Metal Hero says, if there aren't comics to get the next generation into comics, then comics might just die when we all shuffle off. Yeah, that's it. That's the point.
Yeah.
In a nutshell. And you know, the comics market is changing. Like that's definitely true. No matter who you ask, whichever side of the aisle they lean on, like everyone recognizes that it's changing. The question is, what is it going to change into? And a good example of what that could possibly be is the next person on the list, which is this creator, Alice Oseman. Like I don't know how familiar people are with Alice Oseman, but her book Heartstopper is published by Webtoons and has like fucking millions of views. Like you know, because Webtoon is a free platform where you can go and just read books. Like and you know, they're formatted differently. They're not like to page size, like it's by panel and stuff. Like she's won like boatloads of awards for the Heartstopper. Like I mean, you can see it's a gay comic book. It's your lesbian bicycle comics. It says boy meets boy. Like but it's doing the numbers. Like it's sort of Webtoon building like a social media thing, like having people sharing it. That is the future. Like, and Alice Oseman is leading the way in that respect.
That's a half smile.
Mm.
She's just a wee bit leery. She's staring up at Joe there.
Yeah.
I don't know for sure. What do you think the chances are that she's Scottish?
Oh.
Well, she's got the hair for it. I don't know. A lot of my students I've seen in their sketchbooks with their research stuff, her stuff appearing in it. So yeah, she's
certainly influential
popular.
among young people.
Yep.
Like, and this sort of pseudo manga style, like, is like doing well, like in the West. Like, people like seeing their emotional problems presented to them in format of manga or whatever. Like,
Because they're emotionally
good.
My question to you is: has she actually just assumed these people's gender by writing that on their back?
It's interesting that you should ask that question because Alice Oseman, has received criticism for being a woman telling a homosexual male relationship story. So, now she's non-binary or whatever, so that's not a problem anymore.
That solves all problems, doesn't it? We should all just become non-binary. That solves small press day, doesn't it? Solved.
But I wouldn't say that I'm a non-binary person. Like, I'm obviously a man, but obviously gender is a construct, and you can paint your nails and you can wear a skirt, but you got a dick. Like, it doesn't matter. Do you know what I mean? Like, this is something we all agreed on, that like, the gender stereotypes don't matter.
Nobody agreed on that.
I didn't agree on any of this.
No.
Non-binary is not even a thing. Doesn't exist. Didn't agree on it.
The greatest argument I've seen against non-binariness is you're either binary or non-binary.
We're all binary.
That's binary. It's a binary argument. Yeah, it's excellent. Listen,
you can't explain non-binary without binary.
Let's move on. This is getting heavy.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, we're getting close to being cancelled here.
Lost in this. Let's move on.
Drew Gordon is here. Hello. He says, "What kind of resting face does she have?" That's like a kind of smug face. That is like she's been told to pose like that in this picture. Like, that's a photographer direction.
Do you know what?
Right, let's move on. Let's move on.
Go.
So this guy, Nabil Hamzi, his name was
covered in pussy,
and he is not the owner, but shall we say the leader or something of a thought bubble, like the guy running things on the ground or whatever. And thought bubble being the UK's most inclusive comic book convention. Whatever.
They didn't include Mr. Miller, did they? Frank Miller.
No. Yeah. Frank Miller is not allowed. I mean, you can be a white person pretending to be a black person wearing blackface or whatever, and that's allowed. But Frank Miller, no, that's not allowed. Because how dare you write something about
10 years ago criticizing terrorists? Unheard of.
Yeah, but one man's terrorists, another man's freedom fighter.
Even that going bro,
well,
from me.
Pardon?
Even that cat is going, bro, get away from me.
Yeah, this black one.
Like that. The tabby one. He's not loving it.
As well.
The other one's looking a bit vicious, to be honest.
As well as coordinating Thought Bubble, Nabil Hamzi also owns a chain of comic book stores in the north. I want to say 8 stores, maybe 12, somewhere in between those, called Traveling Man, which, it's part comic book store, part board game store, leaning into that sort of comic booky Games Workshop sort of area that we was talking about earlier. So, owns a chain of stores. Is gatekeeping the biggest Comic-Con festival-y type thing. Has a lot of power, is the point. But will pale always in comparison to Lisa Wood, also known as Tula Lotte, the owner and founder of Thought Bubble. And I know it's misogynist to say or whatever, but the biggest babe on the whole list, by some distance, currently working with Scott Snyder, the most talented Snyder. I'm never quite sure. On a book called Barnstormers for Comixology Originals. I'm quite sure that Comixology went out of business, but
So wait, what's her name? Is it Lisa or Tula?
So her actual name is Lisa Wood. Sorry for doxing you. Lisa Wood is her real name, but her creator name is Tula Lotte. And
it makes her sound more exotic than she should be, maybe. Yeah.
Was
it like someone who got cancelled for pretending to be a Japanese guy?
Oh yeah,
Akira, what's his face?
Yeah, you're definitely right.
What's his name? Yeah.
All of the relevant information has left my brain, but I know what you're on about.
Yeah, I forget. It's irrelevant.
Yeah, the Marvel guy, CB, what's his name?
Just more hypocrisy dumped on us by our betters that we're meant to ignore, and we've forgotten about it because it's so tiresome.
There's a deep sea of lore to go through.
There we go. Akira Yoshida.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and who was the guy? What's his real name? Akira Yoshida. What's his real name?
CB Cebulski.
Yeah, he's editor in chief at Marvel Comics.
He's not allowed to do it, but it's all right if she does it.
Yeah, so for me, the name Tula Lotte sounds Caribbean, like someone from Trinidad and Tobago or Barbados or somewhere like that. Barbados. Some people say Barbados. Isn't that like the dumbest thing you ever heard?
I've never heard anyone say that.
Some people call the island in the Indian Ocean, they call it the Maldives. I don't know.
Who'd you hang about with?
It's turned into an episode of Mind Your Language.
We know how to pronounce those things because we conquered those places, but other people maybe don't. Death Metal Hero says CB is the worst editor-in-chief Marvel has ever had. Shifter says fake name sounds trans. Tula Lotte. No, it's got like a kind of a limbo-y kind of vibe.
It sounds like Pig Latin. Ixnay on the,
Oh yeah, that's a good question. What would it be? Lotte, it doesn't mean anything. Tloy. That's not even a fucking word. All right. We're like I said, we're in the business end. Let's move on. Next on the list is Lorenzo Etherington, or more widely the Etherington brothers, who on Kickstarter made, I want to say, $6 million, on their book, How to Think When You Draw. I know you're a bit of a fan on this one, Joe. What are you saying?
I'm just very good angle. Very good artist, very good artist writer team. I think they also work for the Phoenix. Very professional from what I can see. What they do really well. What's not to like?
And it uses a very big pencil.
the performance of their work to make not $1 million, but like $6 million or whatever it is, amazing. Like, without a doubt, the most successfully crowdfunded UK comic book project, like not just of last year, of all time.
Semantic. I don't know if you can qualify. It's comic book related. I don't think it's not comic books, but
yeah, I don't think he should be on the list. I don't know. I don't. This is not comic book.
The question is about influence. If Lorenzo Everington said, "This is how we draw noses," like presented an incorrect way to draw noses, like we would see that filter through, and now people would start drawing noses this incorrect way because of the measure of his influence. Is my logic, at least.
Yeah, I suppose.
And also, I wanted to give like a high rank to an indie guy. That's important to me. Like the indie guys are represented.
Yeah, I think it's great. I think the whole thing's great. I agree with Chubb, but yeah, I don't. Yeah, I'm still tenuous for the comic connection.
It's crushing it. All right, next up is Charlie Adlard, the creator of The Walking Dead.
How many more to go?
We're in like the last 10.
He's the second artist for the Walking Dead and the most well-known. But yeah, he wasn't on the original, team for Crazy Walking Dead.
Oh, my mistake. But they are on a never-ending TV deal, like where they can just sell anything to TV. I think last year they released their third spin-off, like from The Walking Dead. Very successful. First, send that big pencil to Brendan so he can draw a figure. So that's a good callback.
Guys, I need to go to bed soon.
We're in the final stages. We'll plow through. We're almost done.
Don't rush on my account. I mean, yeah, Tony Moore, as Luke says. Tony Moore was. Yeah, I prefer Tony Moore to be. I like Charlie Adlard, but Tony Moore is my favorite Walking Dead artist. But he only did 6 issues of that.
I thought that he was the one. Like, I'm just stupid.
I'm just saying. I'm not. We're talking comics. We're not here to grapple over you on this show.
No, we're here to grapple over them. Next up is Neil Gaiman. Obviously, like this is the kind of person that my girlfriend has heard the name in it. Like this is a name that reached normie people. Like in the same way that like a Douglas Adams did or whatever. Like they've been optioned for Sandman season 2. TV gives you a bit higher rankings or whatever. Even Eric July likes Neil Gaiman. That's how high up on the list we are. We're in serious business town now.
Can I just say, Neil Gaiman, poor man's Alan Moore. There you go.
Great.
Well, I've got an even better suggestion for that coming up. Next we have Garth Ennis. Yeah, again, he's the one leading this sort of reboot of battle action. That again, I think it looks really cool. Like of all the things coming out of the UK last year, battle action is the one that I'm most interested in. Most famous for creating The Boys. Got a big sweet deal with Amazon. Gonna make $1 bajillion regardless of how good the show is or whether they change it or whatever. And then speaking of fake Alan Moores, next up, Grant Morrison. It's got a good track record or whatever of like making iconic books. Last year he made DC Pride, DC's big gay pride virtue signal book, and has switched to being an author put out this book, Luder, about his non-binariness or something. I've been saying his the whole time. My bad.
You. Yeah.
The reason
Finish
is
yourself.
these Grant Morrison thinks of himself as a great intellectual or whatever, and that's fine. Like, it's doing well. Like, most people recognize Grant Morrison as one of the big UK names or whatever. And he seems to be pretty smart, pretty intellectual, but still ranked behind CBeebies. CBeebies, no joke, absolutely crushing it, bigger than 2000 AD, so 80,000 books a week or whatever, like across the range. Peppa Pig, 20,000 books. Learn to read, another 10,000. Because CBeebies, these BBC books published by Renown Publishing, are actually in newsagents, in this is the closest we have in the UK to what they call it in America, the newsstand. They're actually there. People actually.
Oh, but we keep getting told newsstand is dead, whatever. Yeah, you see comics on newsstands in Europe all over the bloody place, not for kids but for grown-ups, and they're doing really well. It's nonsense, really.
All right,
just saying. I had to throw that in there.
Yep.
CBeebies is absolutely killing the UK comic market, absolutely crushing most of the competition. In 5th place, we're into the last 5. Coming in 4th place this year in 2024, it was Zoe Thorogood, most famous to me, at least, for being fucked over by Marvel when they put her character design sketch of Spider-Woman UK as an actual cover. You remember that? Not an amazing cover, because it wasn't a cover, it was just a character concept sketch or whatever. But last year, nominated for 5 Eisner Awards, 5, and she's 22 or something. Alan Moore didn't get nominated for an Eisner until he was 27.
No, Alan Moore published his first short story in comics at the age of 27.
That's it. Yeah, and this woman,
she must be so much better than Alan Moore.
Nominations. She's at least 5 times better than Alan Moore.
At least 5 times better. At least. Of course.
On the first go. I've followed her on Twitter. Seems nice. She's not one of the super angry SJWs. She certainly leans towards that angle. She makes these slice of life psychology comics for girls, and those are important. Women deal with depression issues or whatever. It's important for them to have an outlet for that. If someone can help them with their experiences presented on the page, that's good. I'm not against that stuff. Make the books you want to make. 5 Eisners. Incredible.
Amazing.
Death Metal Hero says that concept art cover fiasco was some bullshit. Marvel should be ashamed of themselves.
It's just a shame Eisner don't mean shit anymore.
Dr. Ben says she's a woman, so of course she's better than Old Man Moore. She's definitely more attractive than Alan Moore. That goes without saying. So I don't know why I said it.
Moving on.
All right, here we are. Number 3, the third most important person in UK comics is Nick Landau, the owner of Forbidden Planet and Titan Publishing. Forbidden Planet is without a doubt, hands down, the #1 UK comic book shop. Like it's a chain, megastore, 12, 15, 20, 24. I don't even know how many stores there is. But there's a lot of them. Every major city has a Forbidden Planet in it. And then Titan Publishing, the book company that publishes their comics, is even bigger than 2000 AD. It's actually in the top 10 companies of the world. That's how good Titan Publishing is doing. They're absolutely killing it. Number 2 is Mark Millar. Gets a huge boost for the end of the year, for the December sort of period, when he picked up this American comic book store owner whose name I've forgotten. Becoming a champion of comic book stores. It triggered a lot of SJWs on Twitter.
He coined the name Cancel Pigs, which I think puts.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Brilliant.
he did that indeed, yeah.
Very small hands as well.
And looks not too dissimilar from our Secretary of Information.
Say something Scottish, Jan.
Okay.
Touch me back,
I'll be going to Glasgow for the footballs.
That's
By way of Berlin.
That was incredible, Jan. I thought Wooly was talking. That's sounded like genuine Scottishness. Mark Millar, did incredibly well at the end of the year, aligning himself as an ally of comic book shops and all of that stuff, which is great. And one of the things I discovered in my research is that he also owns a company with Nick Landau, that sources, comic book creators for comic conventions, as an agency, for those sort of people. So if you want to get in with getting invited to Comic Cons in the UK, this seems like the company to do that. I've forgotten the name. I should have written it down. But we're finally here. We're finally at #1, the most influential person in UK comic books. I'm giving that position to Jason Kingsley, the owner of Rebellion. Because he owns Rebellion, he owns basically every UK comic book ever made, outside of indie books or whatever. They've scooped up every property that there is. Started as a computer game company, and they had 1 or 2 successes and bought out the entire UK comic book industry in one go. They're sitting on all this property that they could just release. They're doing it in dribs and drabs. But for me, the most important thing about Jason Kingsley, and what's weird, I didn't see anyone talking about this. He's a knight. I know this might just look like a picture of him dressed as a knight, but he lives in a castle. He's actually a knight. He's got a horse and stuff. And my gut instinct is to mock him for this, for being a knight. But then I remember that I'm a communist. And I'm also dressed up and if I owned every comic book in the UK, I'd be living in a not a gulag, I'd be living in some
Kremlin
palace or whatever,
Kremlin replica.
yeah, I'd be doing exactly the same thing. Like, like I feel like I should be mocking him, but I kind of respect the game. But then I also at the same time, like, as a communist, what the knight is a literal representative of the landlord, and it like this is my natural enemy. Like, I should be fighting the Kingsley brothers or whatever. Like, it's really hard. Like, I don't quite know what I think. Any thoughts on Jason Kingsley?
Could probably do with using some conditioner, but yeah.
Good on him.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, no, it's
Mr.
good
Solomon-
that somebody bought Rebellion and Rebellion bought 2000 AD and a lot of other properties, and they're still going under the auspices of another publisher. They might not be, so good on that. You know.
Yep. They do good stuff with some obscure British stuff as well. Some quite nice collections that they bring out. Yeah, so
A lot of releases of old material that I've seen a lot of. So.
Mr. Solomon says there's a lot of good videos on medieval stuff. I've watched his channel. Like, he has a lot of medieval content, you know, like how to train your horse or whatever, like how to piss on leather. I don't know, medieval stuff in it. And is occupying the same sort of YouTube space as, like, you know, Shadversity, like that kind of like medieval geek history kind of a thing, like weapons, that kind of stuff. So, like I said, I'm kind of torn on this guy. Like, I'd like to have a chat with him to decide, is this my enemy or is this my ally? Like, I'm not quite sure. Like, I recognize ideological differences, but I also recognize the same kind of like living your best life and being the man that you want to be.
A fellow long hair. That's why he's so cool.
Maybe we'll go for sushi one day. Drew Gordon says he's posh. Yeah, I made that point in a different video. I was laughing at the irony of a couple of Oxford graduates calling their company Rebellion. That's funny to me. All right. So that's the end. We reached the end. That's the end of the list. I don't have anything else to say. Everyone else looks like they want to die.
Do we get a prize?
I think we should have split this in half, this show.
Yeah, I did think of that, but I already put all the big names in the thumbnail. Like, people would be angry if they got to number 25 and I hadn't mentioned any of them. Mechanoid says, oh, that's him. I think I've seen him making peasants porridge. Perfect for your new state.
Wow.
I'm pretty sure he did one on using urine to condition cloth. I literally made that up as a joke example, like pissing on blah, blah, blah. Oh, and Death Metal Hero says, notice he's also smiling. I don't know if that's a smile.
Smiling, kind of. Yeah.
I just want to check. What was you saying? Sorry. I just want to go through and do a quick count on who's smiling. Nick Landau is smiling for definite. Him and his wife, Viv, making $1 bajillion. I think that's a smile. That's 2 out of 50.
That's a smile.
That doesn't really count.
The girl's smiling. Little girl's smiling. He's half smiling.
It's an evil smile.
I'm going to count this as 2.5 so far.
Yeah, that's a smile.
3.5.
No,
that's not a smile.
No,
That's far too pretentious to smile.
That's not a smile.
Goth upside down smile.
That's not a smile. No, we're still on 3.5. That's a definite smile. In fact, I'm going to give that 1.5 smiles. We're on 4 smiles. That's half smile, 4.5.
That's a
Let's
smile.
say 5. That's half smile at best. That's not a smile. That's not a smile.
Well,
It's like a. It's a
Terrified.
smile, but it's also filled with fear.
it's kind of like a
That's somebody
threat.
who's just shit themselves.
That's the smile of a man who
That's
shit himself.
That's a smile.
Yeah, I'm gonna say 6. That's 7. I think that's smile. That's definitely
Smile, yeah.
8.
Yeah, that's yep.
That's smile. That's in the eyes. 9, 10 smiles.
It's a
Not
friendly face.
almost. That's a smile. That's 11 smiles. That's not a smile. That's a smile for definite. That's 12 smiles. That's not a smile. That's about to spit in your face. It's not quite a smile. That's definitely.
No, get it off the screen. Jeez. That's
Oh, is that a smile?
smirky smile. That's a good natured look on his face.
Let's say 12.5 at that point.
Mm.
That's definitely a smile. 13.5.
Zero smiling.
That's not a smile.
No,
That's definitely not a smile.
Terrifying.
That's a smile. That's a good one. Yeah.
14.5. That's a half smile for 15. That's not a smile. That's definitely not a smile. That's not a smile.
Dave Mustaine, though.
Oh, I think that's a half smile. Let's say 14.5. This is like a bewildered smile. This is a guy who doesn't understand what's going on in the moment.
Mark, did you wash your hand after that, or did he wash his? What happened?
I still haven't washed my hand. Let's say 15. That is the most downward smile that I've ever seen in my life. I recognize that as a smile, but it's definitely pointing down. Right? That's not me. Let's say 15.5 smiles. That's a definite smile for 16.5. 17.5. 18.5.
Yeah.
Blue
steel. Not a smile.
19. Let's say 20. So what's that? 20 out of 50. 40% of UK comic book creators are happy.
That many.
All happy, but 40% happy, 100% underpaid, or 99% underpaid, 99.9.
Mechanoid says, Mark, sorry for keeping you up late. Also, Mark, let's get on to smiles.
Yeah.
I feel like, there's this story about how Tony Blair used to do PMQs needing a piss because it made him more dynamic.
That was David Cameron, wasn't it?
Like, I really need to piss, so it makes me talk faster. I can get through the show faster. Okay,
that was Michael Barrymore, wasn't it?
They're all full
so
of
get me
shit.
started on Michael Barrymore. All right, we're at the end. We're approaching Jan's poem. Does anyone have anything that they want to say before we wrap it up?
Subscribe to my list, please.
I did share a link to the list, which I've just done again. No, I accidentally stared at the StreamYard link. We're about to end. Someone in the chat share a Mary Boys link. I'll put it in the comments if not.
Yeah. Find me on Twitter as well, and kind of like back Tales of Mystery. I'm not going to bother with a link.
Yes, do that.
It's okay. Don't worry.
Right
there. On February the 29th, will be the 4-year anniversary of the launch of Kim Il-sung and Best Korea, our first comic book, which we launched on February the 29th in 2020 as a joke, because this date only exists once every 4 years. And it's been 4 years, it's back again. So we're doing a second chance for that. I got a brand new cover by Peter Gilmore that's fucking sick, if I do say so myself. Like, you know, we'll be doing that. Buy one of those when it comes out. And go and subscribe to Bristolian Dave's channel as well. Like,
I'm
go
usually
and
more
watch-
awake than this. This is way
go
past
and
my
watch his videos about his DVDs that only last for 10 years, even though he's had them for 20 years. All right, Jan, I'm coming to you for the poem to take us out. Unless you have anything to add, the floor is yours.
No, not really. I need to go to bed. I've got to go to work today.
Me too.
Okay, it's the chair. What the fuck is this called? I'm quite drunk as well. Okay, this is the found poem from the show, and also I want to add a little bit in before what we were talking about before. Harvey Price. one person in that shit. One person in that trailer that needs updating. Most people don't know who I am, and she said, "What did you do to your hair? Your baby will be okay now. I was trying to spare you any blame. I didn't know he was into cruising. You're probably doing something right. He's perfectly round. Next. Whose message reaches the biggest audience? Who's got the biggest dick? He was fine. It was a sad book. That includes all of you. His wife, not so much. He looks like a fake French waiter. We cannot all be Eddie Campbell. Good grief. My mother goes one step beyond. It's like Inception or something. Did your friend at 5 years old have a beard? He's smiling as well. No 2000 AD, no Alan Moore. We do that in Not Daredevil. More exotic, for reasons. CBeebies is killing it. They're doing it in dribs and drabs. Good night.